Jeff, are there any more ways that we can tell people about Patreon?
You mean patreon.com/wehaveconcerns? Yeah. We're the only way that this show is made possible?
Right. The entire way we fund the show and the way that people can get extra episodes and early episodes and all kinds of bonus content. Do you think we've done that all the ways?
We haven't done a musical version.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff. Am I cutting into your email time?
Yeah.
Am I cutting into your to your iPad time?
Well, I have precious few hours of the day when I'm, not playing Heroes of the Storm.
I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to entertain that right now. Welcome to We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. I've been thinking a lot about communication recently.
Oh, you trying to build our relationship, strengthen it, figure out ways that you and I can communicate more effectively to each other and to our audience?
I think number one would be stop emailing when I'm talking to you.
Well, I'm emailing you about this very issue right now. Re that thing you just said.
That's the passive aggressive guy. I'm just texting you about what you're saying to me right now. You can read it whenever. You don't have to read it right now. No, I've been thinking about it because, we've been doing a lot more live stuff. Mm-hmm. Interacting with people.
Yeah.
I've got to do a bunch of promotional stuff for the TV show for 3 Scientists.
Right.
I'm going to be doing interviews and things, and I'm not, that kind of stuff doesn't make me nervous, but I do want to be sure that I'm kind of like
on message.
Yeah, less on message.
You want to be got your talking points.
Just less me.
How do I get the authentic, not me I can be?
Yeah, the pleasant, communicative, wants to talk to human beings version of myself.
Right. So 180 degrees.
Yeah, I'm really looking to change everything about myself in the next 2 weeks.
But how you been doing that?
Well, I've been reading a lot of articles about communication. I'm just sort of, I don't know. I've just been, ever since we did that episode about the color blue.
Right.
I've just been very interested in the specificity of language. And I came across this thing, what a difference a word can make, how a single word can change your conversation. Elizabeth Stokoe is a researcher at the Salk Institute, and she studies conversations.
Right.
Just how people communicate with one another and what sort of clues we get from each other and what sort of clues we miss all the time.
A terrible person to hang out with.
She's the worst person to have lunch with. She's just staring
at your mouth. Why are you looking at my lips?
No reason. She has found that in a lot of situations, the simple change of a single word in a sentence means everything.
This is that Frank Lutz shit where they call it the Clean Air Act and they call it the Freedom
the
Fries.
Patriot Act.
Yeah, the Patriot Act.
The Patriot Act. Oh, you don't like this act?
Yeah. I guess you don't like clean air.
It's weird that you hate America.
Yeah.
That's strange. Do you not breathe? Does your family not breathe?
It's so manipulative. I hate that shit.
But this is less about manipulation, and this is more like, I think about it in terms of an anecdote that Louis C.K. talked about once, where he had he was talking about how he had a joke about ripping off his own asshole, throwing it against a wall, and jumping through it like a portal. And he knew it was funny, but he wasn't getting any laughs, and he couldn't figure out why. And it was like the change of actually saying, instead of ripping my asshole off and throwing it against the wall, he said ripping my asshole off and throwing my asshole against the wall, because it forced people to visualize it.
Wow. Just
something
that inflection change.
And I could be getting that particular detail messed up. I'm sure I am. But what Elizabeth Stokoe has been doing is studying tiny conversational changes like that change the way people receive your point.
Oh, so these aren't even big changes like Clean Air Act.
No.
Or, this is tiny little nuances.
So one of the first things that I came across was really, really interesting. She lists a few examples. And the first one is changing the word interested to willing in conversation. Hey, would you be interested in helping us move all this junk out of the community center basement?
Nope.
No,
sorry.
I'm not interested.
Nope.
That's not something I'm interested in.
I'm not interested in that.
Would you be willing to help us move this stuff out of the community center basement?
Well, now if I say no, I'm an a-hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're not. But that's the thing. It's not manipulative.
Right.
It's just the difference in this single word.
How
right?
it lands on you.
Yeah. I am absolutely not interested in a lot of things. I'm not interested in most things I'm asked to do.
Right.
Well, would you be interested in staying late today? Fuck no.
Right.
No one's ever been interested in staying late.
Right.
Would you be willing to stay late?
It's kind of positioning it between I'm making a request of you,
Yeah.
or I'm throwing out an offer, right?
Yeah.
An offer you can turn down. A request, now you have some sort of investment in the relationship that I have with the person who's asking me. Right?
Yeah. So, let's see. Like, would you be willing to help me
Tear my asshole off
take
and throw
this?
it
Yeah.
against the wall
Would you
to
be
jump
willing?
through like a portal.
Yeah. Would you be willing to help me dissolve this body in a vat of acid? Would you be willing?
Well-
As my friend, would you be willing?
I'll tell you this. I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
That's not
in
what
it.
I asked.
That isn't what you asked. Good point. I will, because we're buddies.
Yeah.
I will help you dissolve this body in a vat of acid. And I'm also not going to ask who it is, what happened.
Well, it's a hooker.
Well, you told me now.
Yeah. Well, it's a hooker, and it's because I have very specific needs in order to finish.
Let me guess. She wasn't willing.
She wasn't. So, I mean, it's little things like that. And it's also the order that you ask things in can change things too. So,
Yeah. Will you come over to my house?
Yeah.
Sure. Will you come into the bathroom? Yes. Will you look at the bathtub?
Yes.
Sure. Will you help
are
me
you
dissolve-
willing to help me dissolve this hooker's body?
Well, now I'm
Yes.
pot committed.
Yeah.
I've come this far.
Yeah, exactly. Now that falls into sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly.
You drove all the way over. You spent the gas
I'm
money.
not going to waste my afternoon not helping you dissolve this body.
You found a parking spot,
That alone.
like right out front.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, but the order in which you ask people things. So, a company, some salespeople in the beginning of the phone will ask like, "How did you hear about us?" Mm-hmm. Some salespeople will wait until the end of the call. Oh, by the way, how'd you hear about us?
Yeah.
For some reason, asking "How did you hear about us?" in the beginning of a sales call or a follow-up sales call made people very unlikely to buy anything or stay on the phone. But asking at the end, people were just like willing to let people know. Something
why.
about "How did you hear about us?" makes it seem like a formal interview.
Interesting. How did you hear about us? Well, I'm not buying anything. I'll tell you that right now.
May I ask how you heard about us? Oh, you're just checking off a list of shit you have to ask
Maybe
me.
that's what it is.
Cool. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. How did I hear about it? It doesn't fucking
Well,
matter.
maybe it transfers the conversation from talking to a person to talking to an entity that represents a larger corporation. How did you hear
Yeah.
about us is like, oh, right. I'm not talking to a person. But when a particularly effective sales call, in fact, I just had this recently. A woman called me from a local theater company that I had bought tickets from before. And I swear to God, even as it was working on me, I knew what was happening. And I consciously thought in my head, this chick deserves freaking employee of the year. She was so good at engaging me in conversation as a human being. And because I've actually done that job before, I actually have worked for a theater company where I had to call out to people and get them to buy tickets.
Yeah.
I knew what she was doing, but it was also so effective, and she was so better at it than I ever was, that I was like, I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to engage her in conversation. And it was
6 hours later, I'm in a desert,
yeah,
outside of Vegas with a body.
with a body,
with a hooker.
with some amazing seats to Blue Man Group.
I mean, fine seats. They were fine. And that was what was really amazing about her in the call. Is
Yeah.
like, did I help her dissolve that body? Yes. Did I wind up going to see Blue Man Group?
I did.
Was I happy with the tickets?
I'm not going to say I was unhappy with them,
I was
but
a
it would
little,
have been more center. Could have been more center, more closer.
I was a little tired from digging the grave. I was a little smelly from the acid. I had my eyes were a little uncomfortable.
And you know what? Blue does not come out of clothing. I'll tell you that right now.
Nor does red.
It's red. I was just covered in purple.
That looks like a man who has killed and seen good theater. You can tell by the particular shade of violet that is splotching his entire body. Yeah, so I mean, there are all these little things and it's funny because I know that I'm not particularly great in conversation. It's something that I know about myself. I think I'm fine, but I think that's not like a fishing thing. I'm just kind of saying I know that there are some people. Let's talk about somebody who's good in conversation. Let's talk about, say, our buddy Brian Brushwood, who hosts Night Attack.
He's exceptionally good in conversation.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I think people that only listen to his fantastic podcasts and internet shows know that he is a captivating personality. But if you haven't actually had dinner with him, I think we're talking about a different thing than his online personality.
Yes, absolutely.
Just natural sitting there conversation. He's riveting and fun and interesting.
But he's also a guy, and I think this is why I'm not great, is because I'm just now deciding that I should learn. And this is one of the things where the word that I associate with this is probably what makes me not want to do it. Techniques.
Well, that's
conversational techniques.
That's the wrong way to go about it. I will agree with you there. I think that if you're robot
Brian is
brain,
a dude, but Brian is a dude who reads these books and does these things, but he applies it towards being a good and better person.
Right.
But it's just all this shit that's in the self-help or the business or the motivational, and you read it and you're just oh, fuck you, Dale Carnegie or whoever the fuck you are.
No, Brian is a
rich
Brian
dad, poor dad, live the secret. Fuck you. I want to be a real person. Do you get where I'm coming from?
I do. I think that I think your robot brain trying to add new computing lines of programming and to go, oh well, I should change it to willing instead of interested and all that stuff. I think that's the wrong way to go about it. It may be effective.
It makes me feel shady. It makes me feel shady to try to integrate things that aren't, and it's fun. I think it's also because I associate it with performance, right? Because I work on camera, I associate changes to my personality with changes in performance.
Right.
Here are things I need to do to be better on camera. Here are things I need to do to be better, a better host, a better communicator. And so when I do those things in my real life, I feel false in a way.
But what is the difference between that and just aphorisms you've heard growing up? Wisdom handed down from your parents.
I don't follow those either. Fuck what my parents said. Fuck what's knitted on a pillow.
No, have a firm handshake or look a person in the eye.
Limp handshake.
You are a limp handshake.
Limp handshake. Look a person directly in their ear so they think there's something fucking wrong with their ear. Look directly
their mouth like the editor of this article.
Yeah, look directly in between their two front teeth so they think there's always something stuck in it. Or look at your watch. That's a great way to do things. If you're not wearing a watch, look at your wrist like you're wearing a watch.
I don't think those are effective.
I don't know, but that's what I do. That's who I am. And I can't change that,
That's
Jeff.
not true. You are a very engaging personality in real life and just casually. You are
with your mouth open. That's something that I always told myself. There are a lot of things where I want to go against the grain. I got to be my own person, Jeff.
Keep your fly unzipped at all times.
Half-mast at best. It's a slant rhyme, and that's how you remember it.
Yeah. Smart. No, it's a good aphorism. Oh, man. No, I think Brian, he's got that con artist mentality as well. He's a scam school host, right? There are these things that you can force yourself to do, but I don't think they necessarily have to you don't have to come at it from a manipulative perspective. It can be just have a firm handshake. That makes you a better person.
I still disagree. I still think it should be limp and weird.
Clammy at best.
Clammy, limp, and weird.
Lick your hand first.
Clammy, limp, and weird is how I shake hands. It's how I am in bed. This is how I live my life.
Yeah.
CLW. It's the CLW technique. Clammy, limp, weird.
They were a fantastic comedy troupe from the 20s.
Yeah.
Old Clammy's here. See? Oh, Limp and Weird are coming just a little bit after him.
Somebody hold on to this. Don't give it to Limp.
Oh no!
They did not catch on.
We need a bank loan. Don't send weird.
And also looking back, they were not the most inclusive troop.
No,
they really were not great about people and people that were different.
No. They were the one group that I really thought should have been blacklisted.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I think you touched on something, which is I also associate these things with their natural extremes, which is, the people at sales seminars,
right.
But also like on the internet, I associate it with the people who are really into like NLP, like neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh,
and,
right.
These are things you can do to get people to do what you want, or like pick up artists and things like that.
Thing, yeah.
Learn the game, and like they'll never be able to say no. And it's
right.
like, cool, I'll just manipulate people. Weird.
Yeah. So this article.
Yeah, but this
where
article
you can
is
change
not about
one
that.
little
Yeah.
word here or there. There's a lot of power in that, and it's a little.
Would you be willing to admit that I'm onto something, though?
I would be willing to admit that.
Yeah!
I'm not interested in it, but I think that it's actually pretty frightening to me how easily manipulated, or how easy just language can change your opinion of something. And that's that Frank Lutz shit that I really hate. How just framing something in a certain way, saying things like, bureaucratic bigwigs and all these button phrases and things that people whose job it is to frame the discussion will use as manipulation.
Well,
that bothers me.
It was like watching that interview between Ted Cruz and Stephen Colbert.
Right.
And watching Stephen Colbert come from a place of genuine, like, here's the information and I have these questions about it as a human being. And like, I'm coming at you as like a person to person, and watching Ted Cruz kind of do like overly politician, key phrase, hit the word, stay on message, say something in a way where you can't really pin me down. Like, it's very, I don't know. So I think I am probably exaggerating it, but we are susceptible to it. And that's the other thing that makes me feel weird about integrating these things, is I don't want to take advantage of things people are susceptible to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will kind of change a few of these things. I am going to do it because, like I said, I don't care.
Best advice I ever got in this context about sort of being engaging, and I think this is one of those things that comes from a genuine place, and it doesn't have to feel manipulative, is interested is interesting. When you are genuinely interested in what someone else is saying, it's interesting to them. They are engaged because you find them fascinating.
I want you to know that you still have your iPad in your hand.
I've got some other things I want to send to you later.
Have you seen
this cat image? Oh my God, it's adorable.
Oh, the one?
The one cat. The one cat on the internet.
How do you guys feel about this? Elizabeth Stokoe actually has created a thing called CARM, Conversation and Analytic Role Play Method. She has a TED Talk about it. We'll put a link in the thing. You can see she's kind of training people to be able to communicate better, and framing it that way is a way that I enjoy, but she's also framing it in a way.
Is her motto for this keep calm and use better words?
Hey, go fuck yourself. You can tweet to us what you think about these things. I'm at A Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
And hey, if you have seen something recently that you think we should discuss on the show, you can head to our subreddit. That's wehaveconcerns.reddit.com, or send it to us at wehaveconcernshow@gmail.com.